crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's video, I'm going to unbox the new, well, it's new, it's actually in our annual catalog. Now the catalog came out a while back now, but this machine is new. It's the new mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine. Okay, so this catalog, which I can open because it came out, let's see, back in June 3rd. And it goes to May 2021. So if you have this catalog, you can check out this page in the catalog. And I'm going to be referring to some things. So just because of manufacturing, we just got this little mini machine in. And you've probably seen me unbox and use this big machine a couple times. And now what I really am excited about is that this one's hopefully, crossing fingers, is going to fit in my camera view without me having to move to other rooms and do all this weird funky lighting stuff. But we'll see. All right, so I already have some joining me. Hello, Susan, Diana, and Thelma. Yippee, yippee. So I have paper set up. I have dies set up, embossing folders. Because when I do an unbox, I like to try to use what I'm doing right away. Like use the products right away. Hi, Sally and June. Oh, howdy from Texas. Don't mess with Texas. See this gigantic thing they packed it in? This is good. They really protected it, right? One of my team members said you can stand on this. It's so strong. All right, so we're pulling out the little mini. It's so cute. I literally took it out of the box. I like to always keep things real with my viewers. Let's see if anything else is in there. There's another piece of that, and then there's this. I like to keep things real with you all and let you know my first impressions. I like you to see what I go through setting up a machine and showing how it works and things like that. So I like to keep it real, and that's why I didn't open it yet, and I haven't watched anyone else's unboxing either because I just wanted to try it for myself. Hi, Susan. So I saw Sally come in, and then I saw Debbie and June. So let's open up all this stuff. I didn't see any instructions, but I probably instinctively chucked them. Maybe they're inside here. Oh, these are the instructions. Okay, cool. Yeah, I usually don't follow instructions, but I like to just see that they're there just in case we need them. Okay, we have, let's see what we have. This is cutting plate number 1. Okay. And then we have plastic. So it's going to work like the big one, but it's just on a miniature scale. 2 and 3, which are cutting plates 2, which are the same. Okay, so these all are included. And then this little guy, number 3, embossing folder. Okay, cool, because I have embossing folders. And 4, embossing folders. So this is for the 3D embossing folder. All right, cool. So what do I mean by all this? Well, I'm using this kind. Okay, this kind. Now I didn't do these. I did these with a different machine. Just to show you what they should look like. Because we're going to compare that to what they actually come out like in this machine. So these are embossing folders. Okay, so I will be embossing something. That's what I mean by embossing folder. Now what do I mean by 3D? We have to see if these are 3D. I don't think these are. It would say 3D on them. So we have greenery embossing folder and wrapped in texture. Yeah, we'll start with those because they're an easy thing to start with. Okay, so those are my embossing folders. Let's look at the machine itself. Oh my gosh, it's too cute. It's too cute for words. Little tiny platform. So far, I think I could probably raise my camera up a little bit, but I mean, it does fit in my camera's view, which I'm happy about. I'm trying to see. I can't raise this too much without doing crazy stuff on YouTube, so never mind that. So it does fit in my camera view, so I'm happy with that. So see, very lightweight and collapsible. So far so good. And it should work either way, but like you would crank the handle, I'm right-handed, so I'd crank it over there. The last machine I came with, if you recall, I had to set it up myself. I had to put the little handle on myself. So I'm glad it came with the handle. All right, so let's start with this. We're going to start with, we'll do the greenery. And I had the other embossing folders here. These two are on clearance, by the way. $4, right? You can't beat that. They're usually $8. Not clearance. What's it called? The end of year closeout sale. The thing that I put in my newsletter, if you saw that, it was the end of year closeout sale. So these ones wrapped in texture are $4. These ones are this one's $8 because these are in the annual catalog. Hey Barbara, you caught me live. Cool. We are embossing. I'm excited. I have some foil here. And some, what did I grabbed champagne foil. You just grab whatever you have. It doesn't matter. Follow along. And now it looks like, see, my paper's 6 inches wide. So let's just go ahead and cut it 3 inches, right? My paper. I guess I'm going to see how, if this is 3 inches, it's probably a 4-inch wide little, yeah, it's 4-inch wide, okay? So let's be practical. If I'm going to do a piece, I might as well do a piece that's going to fit on my card, right? So I will do, I'll just make one 5 1/4. 5 1/4, yeah, because the card is 5 1/2. So I'll just make a little piece that would fit across my paper. All right, we'll go ahead and do the wrapped in texture. Okay, this looks like a good one. We're going to put that in there. Now, it is not a 3D embossing folder. It is an embossing folder. So let's see what the choices are. We have, it says plate number 1. So this is your base plate. Base plate. And then we're going to look at the picture, right? Plate number 1. That's number 1. Okay, then it says take your 2 glass ones. Not glass, but clear plexiglass. It says you need 2 of the number 2s. That's the picture. Right? And like that. But then it says, but when you're doing, that's just for normal cutting, right? That's for normal cutting. That's normal. But when you're doing these embossing folders, let's see what it says. 3D embossing folder, no. And this is saying regular embossing folder. So this is say insert embossing folder. So I'm going to assume that the regular embossing folder uses this and nothing else. That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming I don't need these plates at all. Hey, let's try it. Okay, we're going to put that in there. So number 1. We're going to put this embossing folder in there, only because the picture says, if you're using plate number 3, put this one in the embossing folder. That's my sandwich. Hey, let's try it. If not, okay, you sometimes have to get it to kind of, you know, if it doesn't work, you don't want to force it, but it's working. Oh, it's working, it's working. I like when my sandwich works, and I don't have to just do mystery guessing. So this is the wrapped in texture. Gorgeous. Now let's compare that to the one that I did with the regular embossing machine. I should have probably compared the same colors of cardstock, but that's okay. Oh, I did it in reverse. See, this is one I did in reverse. Meaning if you put the paper like up, right, then you get the, but pretty cool. So both work equally as well. In other words, the impression is really good on that. Okay, let's try that with a piece of cardstock now. Let's take a piece of cardstock and emboss that. We will use the Forever Greenery because it's green. I don't know how I lost that so quickly. Here we go. So we're going to use Forever Greenery embossing folder. We'll use this one and a piece of shaded spruce. Okay, because I have a piece of cardstock here. So we're putting a piece of cardstock in the embossing folder. Okay. And we're going to put the plate number 1, the base plate. And I'm just using plate number 3 because it says insert embossing folder, hinge first, right? Hinge first. See that? You're putting your embossing folder hinge first. Then you're putting plate number 3 on top. That's your sandwich. Simple, easy peasy sandwich. Okay, we're going to put that in there. Now we'll see what the embossing or the cardstock looks like. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I'm so happy with this so far. We have this works. Embossing folders work. The foil cardstock works. Now let's do something fun with the embossing folders. Okay, so what I thought would be fun is this. This is what I thought would be fun. And I know I'm going to be daring here. I'm going to use this one. This is one called, or actually it's the other one, this one. We'll use this one here. Okay, this is the wrapped in texture. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink it up. Okay, I'm going to ink it up. And we're gonna put some ink on it, and then I just grabbed some light colors of ink. It's always good to use light colors of ink when you try this sort of technique. Coastal Cabana. Let's try, actually, or Pool Party. How about Pool Party? Pool Party's good. Pool Party's really light. So what you want to do, and I'm going to try one of my new sponges, new blending brushes only because I can. Well, Lena, I had to get both. I understand your concern about what should I get, the small one or the big one. I got both, but the big one's going to be, if you're only going to get one, the big one is practical, more practical, honestly. It's $120 though. This one's $60. The reason you'd want to get the big one, or the way you could get the big one, is you could get it as part of a starter kit. So for $99, if you join Stampin' Up, you can get the big one. And then you only pay $99. You get free shipping. That's a way to get the big one. Or the big one's more practical because you can fit everything in it. Okay, what I'm doing is, this is Coastal Cabana. I'm just going to try my new blending brushes. I'm just going to dip them into the ink here and just kind of brush up my, I'm going to brush my embossing folder. I'm just trying it. And then it might stain my brushes, but I'm not worried about staining my brushes now because I have a bunch more brushes. I bought a bunch more. 3 more. We were only allowed 3. During the demonstrators, when we pre-order, we were only limited to 3. But because I went to some event earlier called On Stage, I was able to get 3 at that point. So I'm just kind of putting a little bit of ink on here. It doesn't look like it's going on as much as I would normally get it to go on with a different kind of sponge. So maybe I got to do a little bit of tapping here. I don't know. I've never played with these ones yet, but I just want to put a little ink on the embossing folder. So that way when I run it through with some Whisper White, the ink will transfer into the paper. Okay, it's something I do with the bigger machine, so why not? Here's a piece of Whisper White, and I'm just putting the Whisper White in there. See that? It has some little Pool Party on there. You can see it a little better there. And we're going to put down, again, plate number 1, plate number 3, and we'll roll it through. It doesn't really matter which embossing folder you do this to. They're all kind of pretty cool like that. But this one has the little dots on it. I think it'll look nice. Okay, nope, it didn't do it. I think it didn't do it very much, but that's okay. My blending brush needs to I just need to do it now after it's probably embossed. I think that might work better. But still, yeah, that's kind of what I was going for though. It doesn't go on the folder as much because this brush doesn't put a lot of ink on it. That's all. So I would just use my other kind of brush. Same technique. What I'm going to do now is just color the embossing folder. There you go. There you go. That's what I like. That's what I like about embossing folders, is you can just bring out the texture when you color them up. All right. So now that I have this, I wonder if if you're guessing what I'm going to do next with this. We're going to die cut it with a piece of metal, a metal die. We're going to try the metal dies on this machine. So I just need, I don't have to get the edges done. I just need to get the middle done because the edges aren't going to cut out anyway. Oh, I like Pool Party. I'm liking these blending brushes, but I think, it's just going to depend. This puts on a very light coat compared to what I'm used to. All right, so let's take a metal die. We're going to use this set here. Tasteful Labels dies. Okay, and now let's see what sandwich we need. We're going to go start back at the beginning. We have the base plate. So we're going to use the base plate number 1. And the sandwich is going to be 2 number 2 plates when you use the metal dies. So we're going to put that in there. And don't worry that these little plastic plates, don't worry that you get something on them. Like, okay, we're going to put the first one down. I'm going to put this piece of paper in there now, right? This is the piece of the Pool Party textured cardstock. Let's get one of these guys. Let's get this guy. That'll look cool. We'll put Tim in there like that. We'll die cut this one. Okay, so my sandwich is like that, and I'm going to put one more plastic plate. Okay, so I'm putting another plastic plate on top. Now don't worry that the bottom plate is going to get scratched, right? This plate down here will get all scratched, and you might even hear cracking noises. So don't worry about that though, because all die cutting plates get scratched. And, you know, that's just the way it is. Okay? I don't have to push very hard on this. I really like that. I don't have to push very hard. Okay? And there we go. There we have it. So now we have a inked up, I would need a little bit more ink on this one. An inked up shape that you can use on a card or something. And I'll do something with that. You'll probably see this soon on my page. I'm going to make this into something. I'll probably use it with the Whale of a Time suite because I think I know Pool Party is one of the coordinating colors with that Whale of a Time, and it'll also like be a nice little thing to put behind the sentiment or behind the whale. It's kind of nautical, but that's what you can do. So that's the metal dies. All right, so let's see. I have some snowflakes. I wanted to try snowflakes with balmy blue glimmer paper as a comparison because that's something I've done a lot with. Okay, so we're going to try that. So here is the balmy blue glimmer paper. And again, since this is only, okay, I cut the last one 3 inches. So now let's, out of curiosity, I'm going to see if I cut this 4 inches wide, if it's going to go in or it needs to be slightly smaller. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim this balmy blue to 4 inches. So far, so good. It's you don't have to put a lot of pressure on this machine. The machine doesn't take up a lot of room on the table. Oh, by the way, if you host a party, like a Stampin' Up, like online party or something, you can get this as one of your half price items. So yeah, don't go 4 inches. 4 inches is not, you can't cut your paper 4 inches. So let's try 3.5 or 3.75. Because 4 inches won't go in there. Hi, Dawn. And if I missed anyone else, it's because I was cutting. I'm just going to go for 3.5 inches. See how that fits in there. Yeah, so it was 3.75 would have been okay because this is 3.5. 4 was too big. 3.5. Oh, but let's look at the plate. This might be perfect. Yeah, 3.5 is what you want. 3.5 is the size of the plate. Okay? So good, good, good. So now let's put the plate number 1. We're going to put plate number 2. It's already starting to get scratched. So this will now, from this point on, this will be your bottom plate. Okay? The plate that you scratch, keep it as your bottom plate because then you just keep on scratching it. You can get replacement plates. Okay? So now what I want to do is I'm going to put the balmy blue glimmer paper like face up like that, and I'm going to get my dies, my so many snowflake dies. Okay, because I already know these work really well with this glimmer paper. With my other, we'll just use this one, this metal snowflake, with my other machine. So I know that they already work. So I'm just trying to compare how this machine works comparing to my other machine. Okay, putting some snowflakes there. And now we're going to put that other plate. This is my top plate on top there. Okay, why am I putting it up toward the top? Because I want to conserve this glimmer paper. I want to keep using it. So I cut some snowflakes, then I can cut some more. You know, that's why. I'm putting it near the top. If I put it in the middle, then I'm not going to conserve as much glimmer paper. Okay, this one I'm pushing harder. Let's see if I did something wrong with my sandwich. It seems like I have to push harder on this one. I know my glimmer paper's thick, but I shouldn't really have to push that hard, huh? Let's try it. I'm going to push that in a little. See if I can't get that to go. What's up? You don't want to force things, but I'm just trying to think of why it's not going in. Okay, 1. I'm using regular metal dies. This is just what I did before. Huh. So the only thing is what I would do is I'm going to move these all back some. I got the lips, I got the small lips going that way. I'm going to move the paper back some. I'm going to move the paper way back here. So this part will catch. It'll catch first. And then these can get caught on later. So as long as the first part catches, the rest will go in. There we go. Okay, troubleshooting done. That's how you get that in there. Just move them down some. But boy, that's tight. So glimmer paper, because it's so thick, is really tight. Okay, but it works. Okay, so let's try these snowflakes. Oh my, very easy to get out. In fact, easier to get out than on the other machine because it is tight. So that's actually a good thing. So now I've been cutting so many snowflakes. I think I'll be cutting them with this machine from now on because I don't have to do, there's some tricks. Like my sister taught me this wax paper trick, and you have to, like, you put parchment paper under here, and you know, before you touch it onto the plate, and then these pop right out. But I don't think I'm gonna have to do that because this already looks like it pops right out. See, look how easy these pop out. Oh, I love my snowflakes. Okay, so that's cool. I am happy with that. Now let's see if I have any. I was gonna get a stamped image to try this with. Some of my stitch shapes too. Okay, so we have different kinds of dies, and I just wanted to mention that, like, I didn't bring this little set over here, but see, some kinds of dies, like this hippo happiness dies, they work with stamped images, so they're going to work the same exact way we just did it. But what I tend to do is, like, if I'm going to put this over a stamped image, I'm going to tape it down a little bit with a piece of washi tape or painter's tape, because I don't want that stamped image to slip off. But I tend to use these other dies more. And I tend to not even put these around something, a sentiment, but I mean, I can. For this example, I can, but I tend to just cut a bunch of these blank ones out and use them later. And then, so I like dies that are more versatile. Versatile, I'm not sure how to say that. Okay, I like the ones that I can just cut a bunch of and then stamp them later. So these are like great sets to have, layering circles, stitched shapes. Okay, I'll show you in the back of the catalog how you know if they're going to work with the mini embossing machine or not. But even if the whole set doesn't work with the mini embossing machine, maybe part of the set does. All right, so let's do something. Let's take. I'm just grabbing this was just the closest stamp set near me. It's called Festive Post, and we'll just get the word love. I'm just going to get the word love out of Festive Post. All right. And I'm just going to put it onto a stamping block. I'm just grabbing a stamping block that's huge. It doesn't really need such a big stamping block. I'm just grabbing one because what I'm trying to do is to show you how to cut out a stamped, when you have a stamped sentiment with a die. Okay, I'm using Memento black ink. I'm going to ink that up. Okay. The Love Boat. Okay, take a couple tries. I'm going to get a little piece of... Oops, that wasn't Whisper White. We'll find a piece of Whisper White. Okay. Oh, this one already has stuff going on it. What's going on here? There's a piece I messed up earlier. I messed that one up. So we'll use this piece. I messed up both sides of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp love onto this piece of Whisper White. And I probably have to stamp it a couple times because, yeah, it wasn't super dark the first time you use it. Let's just do it one more time. See, when you first use a stamp, it's going to take you a couple tries to get it to be dark. Maybe even 3 tries. That's why sometimes you can use Versamark ink. And I could have put the ink pad down too and just kind of into it like that as well. But I'm just, so sometimes I do it upside down. Sometimes not. Okay, that's good. That's good. They're both pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to just take a die and cut out the stamped image. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. I need to trim it a little because this is too wide. Hi, Maureen. Right, so I'm trimming it a little because it's too wide to fit in the machine. So then we're going to use that same technique. We're going to use plate number, die cut, plate 1, plate number 2, put the love down there, and now we're going to get a die, like that maybe. That one will work. Okay, so here's just these are just little things I do. I tend to get a little piece of washi tape. So it doesn't matter if you have, this is the same concept whether I was trying to cut out a little hippo or what's that thing? A unicorn. Right? Same concept. That's what I'm trying to just show you. If you put a die down on top of something, it's going to move if you don't put a little piece of tape down. So this is just another little trick. And you want to put the tape out here, not inside there, because the tape tends to rip the paper sometimes, even though it's washi tape. If you don't want it to rip the paper, use it like on your clothes and then get the lint off, or put some lint on here. It won't be as strong. put a little piece of tape on there before you put the plate in there. That way it doesn't slip. Okay? And if you put the tape on the inside, it could rip the paper. That's why I put it on the outside. Okay? So there we go. That's much smoother than the balmy blue paper because this is just a piece of Whisper White. Okay, and then I'm going to peel that. Okay. And these I love these kinds of dies because if you were to put this into a card face, you would have a hole in the card, so you have double stitching. There's your double stitched or nested dies, I think they're called, or double stitch dies. But so you can use this piece for something if you want. I'm not personally using it. I'm just going to use it to like a scrap paper for cutting out little angels with or something. But if you put this on a card front, you'd have a cool little stitching. And then there's your little stitching. Okay, so we'll put that on top of the background here so you can see that. So I love stitch dies. And the Scan and Cut sort of does some stitching for us, but just not as well as metal dies. Metal dies do it better. So if you see a die like that, that's the result. That's the result you'll get. You'll get stitching on the inside and on the outside when you use a die like that. And you just use a little piece of tape to center it. You can keep reusing your tape again. And don't tape on the inside because when you peel it up, it might rip the paper. All right, the only other thing this does, I mean, this machine will do is the 3D embossing folder. So you saw this one. It said insert, or was it this one? One of them said 3D embossing folder. I don't have a 3D embossing folder. I do, but not. I don't think I have any for this size machine. So I need to show you that though. I did need to show you because of might be a mystery to you. So it says this is the one we've been using for the embossing. We use the one called Insert Embossing Folder Regular. But this one it says Insert. No, I'm sorry. We've been using this one. We've been using number 3, Insert Embossing Folders. This is the one that says Use with 3D Embossing Folders. The reason I know that is I'm going to turn this sideways and you can see. This is the one we've been using. It's pretty thick because we used a thin embossing folder. Look at the difference though. Look at the difference in that. You need to use the right embossing folder the right plate if you're using a 3D embossing folder. Okay, and I'm going to show you why, and if I have any, just see what's on my table here. Let's see what this is. I'm just reaching for things. Here's one. Ha! Good. This isn't going to work on this machine, but you'll get the idea. All right, here's the idea. This is a 3D embossing folder. Obviously not one for this machine. So earlier you were asking, hey, should I get the big machine? Well, if you like doing big giant thing, yeah, this works with our regular embossing machine. So that's why I like having both embossing machines. I'm going to be able to use this more for like sitting at my living room. It's portable, taking to workshops. I like that it's portable and small. I can use it for demonstrations, but of course I like having my big one. All right, but let's just talk about this. We are going to talk about the sandwich. Here we go. So we had this one. It says 3D embossing folder. So when you use the 3D embossing folder, you're going to use the thinner plate. When you use the regular embossing folder, and this is important because I have done this. I've totally bent my machines. I've totally bent my embossing folders. When you use the regular embossing folder, you're going to use this plate number 3, and it tells you, since it doesn't say 3D embossing folder anywhere, that's the plate you're using. Altogether, the sandwich, the thickness is still the same altogether. The result is still the same thickness. Whether you use a thick embossing folder and a small plate, or a thin embossing folder and a big plate, your result is the same distance in there. So, okay, now I'm going to show you in the catalog where you can find out if you're compatible with the small machine. And that's how I'll wrap things up here. I have this. Okay, so in this catalog, in the back, there are dies here, these dies. And as I was going through to show you examples of dies, I thought, oh, I could try this set, so sentimental, because see how it has the little icon that says it's good with the mini machine, okay? So when you see that icon, let me pull this out. I'm going to pull out these Tasteful Labels. Here's the Tasteful Labels. See this? Tasteful Touches bundle. Tasteful Labels dies. When you see that little icon, mini icon, it means every one of these, right? Every one of these, this is the biggest die. It's all going to fit in this machine. See? Even the biggest die in the set. If you don't see the icon, the mini icon, it doesn't mean that you can't use it with the mini. Let's see. It just means that you can't get every one of them in there. That means that you can get some of them in there. So let's find an example. So for example, I don't have a lot of these dies. Like I said, I mostly get these kinds of dies. I have this one and this one. I like the ones that have lots of shapes to cut out. Yeah, like for Hippo and Friends doesn't say. I wonder why it doesn't say use with the mini. Because it does work with the mini. That's interesting. So Hippo and Friends should say it works with the mini. Because I just put the biggest die in there and it did seem to work. But anyway, if it doesn't say it, it means that maybe, like here, the ornate one, I have this one. That biggest square, this biggest die is probably not going to fit through there. This biggest one. But all the rest will. So it's still going to work with my mini, just not the very biggest die. But definitely these are compatible. So if you're safe if you get this one, it means that they'll all fit in with the mini. So that's what, like here, if you get the Pampered Pets, you know, they all fit in the mini. So that's the icon to look for. And a lot of you have this catalog already. This catalog. Okay, so stay tuned because as soon as this video uploads, hopefully soon because I'm keeping it short enough, then I'm going to get on and show you new products from my pre-order from the 2020 mini catalog. So I'm going to clear my table and I'm going to unbox some products from this catalog. So thank you for joining me. I hope you like this new mini machine. My first thoughts are, I like it. Really, there's no problems with it. I didn't have any problems. It's small, it's portable, it's light, it works, it has good impression. It was hard to get through a little bit unless you give a little bit of room on the front. Everything I tried worked. I don't see any problems. I like it. So far, so good. I think it was worth the $60 investment. I didn't pay $60 because I'm a demonstrator. I get 25% off things because I'm at the level where I get 25% off. You start out with 20% discount. And B, because I got this for half price because I had such a big order. My order was so big in my pre-order that this little guy was a half price item. So I only paid $30 for it. Hello, no brainer, $30. I had just given away 3 big old clunky machines. They weren't bad, they were just humongous. And so now I can, work with smaller machines, making a little bit more room in my craft room. So I'm happy about that because I'm going to like these smaller form machines better that collapse. That aren't, that don't stay open and take up a big room, like a lot of room. Okay, so that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you soon.